Alright, I thought I'd give the guys in the group a walk around of my BWS, also known as the Lunatic. And I think the first thing you notice that isn't stock is the wheels. So it's got a nitro conversion done to it. The rear bolts straight on, no issues there. The front, however, is tricky. You've got to take the center stem of both the BWS and the nitro, you grind both welds off, and then you swap the stems around. And that's pretty much it. But you've got to ensure that when you do that, the steering lock is at the right place. So if you plan on doing this mod, make sure that you just mark where the steering lock is located, and of course when you repress them in and re-weld them, that everything is where they need to be. So I've given these a light kind of spray paint as well, and of course being a longer fork than the stock BWS, you need to have a longer speedo cable as well. So there was a custom speedo, and then I've got a custom little mount there that holds the speedo cable off the wheel, and I've used the standard BWS mudguard with a bit of a modification, as you can see. And of course the beauty of the nitro wheels is the Brembo brakes, which are chalk and cheese better than the BWS. Although I am still running the BWS Master. And then back to the forks, I'm running slightly thicker oil than stock, and I've also played around with the air gap, because the air gap is also what gives you your nice plush ride. So if you do want to do this mod, air gaps are keen. The stock one with thick oil like I've got in didn't work. I think these forks came out about 3 or 4 times, increasing the air gap every time. Of course, increasing air gap means removing fluid. Alright, next up on the mod list is of course the PRD pipe. I've repacked this exhaust about probably at least 12 times. They are pretty loud, and thankfully the newer ones have a thicker can on them, so they are a little quieter, but not much. But fantastic pipes, like no shit, they just don't crack and they go forever. And then I've also got a bit of a crash bung going on over here, so that if I do fall on this side, it protects the pipe, because the pipe costs as much as a BWS does nowadays, well, according to the book at least. And I've also got an aftermarket shock in here with a bit of an adapter plate from an old sprocket. And this shock is adjustable for preload, compression and rebound. It actually comes off a pit bike if I'm not mistaken. Right, moving over to the transmission side of things, I've drilled a couple of holes into the transmission cover. Because I run 2000 RPM springs in it, it does get pretty hot, particularly in traffic where it's working non-stop. Also running lighter rollers in the variator, and of course a little air filter there to ensure no muck gets into the transmission side of things. Okay, what you can't see, there's a 28mm PWK carb in the back there, which means this bike's obviously running on premix, and not only does it have a big carb in it, it's also got a big crank in it. And a big bore kit. So it's a 56mm piston, which takes this with the big crank to about 130.5 cc's, and it goes really nicely. Like it's such a great bike to ride. Got lots of torque, and it revs out as well. Alright, there's my PWK carb, running pretty big jets. I think the main's running about 150. That is quite substantial, particularly for up here in Johannesburg. I've also got a little trickle charger adapter in there, which I think some of you guys may have seen on a previous episode. That fuse in there runs the LED headlight conversion that Rob from ADV Rider did for me some time ago. And he's wired in H1 LEDs directly off the battery. It run from here up to the headlight itself. Alright, it's a little darker now, so you'll be able to see the headlights a bit better. Let me turn them on. Pretty damn rad. Thanks Rob from ADV Rider. LEDs for the win. Oh, and we can't forget the neon ridiculousness on the wheels. So that's just there for shits and giggles, truth be told. No specific reason other than I like luminous yellow. And the blue looks pretty damn good.